Yo, we are going to talk about some crazy topics today, including Kamala Harris and Ron DeSantis going after it over slavery. You're listening to Logic and Reason. Salutations, everybody. Welcome into the show tonight. It is another Tuesday. Welcome in. Welcome to Logic and Reason. Please like and subscribe to the show. We have a special edition of the show today. It's taken us a minute. Really, not really. It didn't really take that long, but I guess when you're impatient, it took a long time. We finally reached 100 subscribers. I know for some people it probably doesn't seem like much. I know, especially with Kofa and them, they're just like, well, 100. That's clockwork. But we just started, so it's pretty exciting for us. So thank you everybody who have subscribed to the show. We appreciate you greatly, and we're looking forward to getting the next 100. So
yeah,
you have any?
I'm excited. Thank you guys. Obviously couldn't do without you. So please keep inviting people to watch the show. And stay tuned tonight. We got a good one for you.
Okay, so today we had some interesting stories that we wanted to share with you. And one of the stories involves one of Mel's probably favorite artists of all time. I think it's probably your favorite of all time. Goes by the name of Lizzo. You might know her. She's also from Houston. And so,
She's from here?
I think so.
Oh.
Or maybe it was here for a little bit.
Well, you can claim that.
But anyway, we have a new little show bump. I like that. All right, so tell us about Lizzo. What happened with her?
Let's see here. Lizzo, who is not my favorite, by the way. I think you were projecting your own dear feelings for her. So, from Reuters, in Los Angeles, 3 former dancers, apparently, for Lizzo, accused her of creating a hostile work environment, including weight shaming.
Coming from her, that's very surprising.
And sexually denigrating behavior in a lawsuit released on Tuesday.
Actually, that's not surprising. Maybe the people that she was weight shaming were skinny and therefore needed to not be skinny anymore. So that might not be surprising. Maybe
You're taking too long to beef up. This is supposed to be a big girl show.
Facts.
The lawsuit in Los Angeles County Superior Court named Lizzo, whose real name is Melissa Vivian Jefferson, her production company, Big Girl Big Touring, Inc., and the captain of her dance team, Shirlene Quigley, court documents show.
Yeah, so that's not very original for a production company name, but
it is Big Girl Big Touring, Incorporated.
Girl spelled incorrectly, but that's okay.
Yes, girl with yeah. So those of you listening on Apple Podcasts or anything else, without watching the video or maybe just listening while driving, girl with girl, like 3 R's in the middle. Girl.
There's no L. There's no I. So there's no vowel in here. So it's girl.
Surprise, surprise. Representative for Lizzo did not respond to a request for comment.
Of course not.
Let's see. These complaints. The complaints filed by plaintiffs Ariana Davis, Crystal Williams, and Noel Rodriguez include harassment based on sex, religion, race, and disability. Let's go. No, girl in trouble.
Let's go. Let's get it.
In the lawsuit, the dancers claim they were coerced into touching nude performers at an Amsterdam strip club in late February. Okay, this is not a part of work.
How are you coerced? Was she like going to threaten to sit on you if you didn't touch the people?
I wonder if they showed up to a set to dance. Well, it's a strip club, but maybe they're doing the set on site at the strip club. And then they thought they weren't going to have to do, they were only going to have to do choreography.
Okay.
I do believe the fat shaming thing, though, because a lot of the body positivity stuff is BS from people. But let me continue, I guess.
Let's see what we got.
Let me see if I can skim through. Okay, let's see. I almost lost my spot here. Suit also stated that Davis was pressured to participate in a nude photo shoot, to stay in a dance competition, and
Of course,
and
they
I
all
lost the
fear to
story.
lose their jobs.
Yeah. The stunning nature show of how Lizzo and her management team treated their performers seems to go against everything Lizzo stands by for publicly, while privately she weight shames. Okay, so now they're just repeating themselves.
So where did the religion and race come in on this? Because it doesn't seem like. All right. Okay. So I think that's the answer. So one of the ladies was very vocal about her religious beliefs and took every opportunity to basically shove that in her face, regardless of the protests.
I wonder.
Or was she like Christian? And she's like, nah, I don't want to do this. No, I can't touch this.
But you know who you're
Scantily
working
clad.
for. It's not like she came out as a Christian artist and then switched.
That is true.
But at the same time, maybe what she signed up for was not what Lizzo ended up forcing her to do.
Then I
Sorry,
guess
I had lost my place on here.
somebody else's virginity got into a conversation and
Oh,
then used
no.
on social media,
Women.
which I think that might have something to do with one of her songs, right?
Okay.
If she's like talking about positivity and being promiscuous and whatnot, then she's probably talking to her dancers like, "Yo, are you a virgin?"
Why is
I
that
wish
their,
we saw
their
the
business?
social media clip, but we don't have it. But that would be something that I would question.
Yeah.
But yeah, how is that anybody's business? You're the artist, right? Your backup dancers are just dancers. So, I would be like, hey, you didn't tell me that we were going to be talking about like all this stuff on your Instagram where you have thousands of people watching or whatever platform she's using.
Yeah.
I'm not really down for all that. I didn't sign up for this. And, she might fire you, but that might be a good thing because maybe she's crazy. So,
Yeah.
who knows?
And who's this Quigley girl again? She just works with her.
Yeah, it's
I just read it and I forgot already. I'm trying to see what weight she has on there because if she's blaming, the captain of the dance team. Okay.
Yeah, she's the
Yeah,
captain.
because she revealed stuff.
Davis
personal-
is one of the dancers.
Yeah, she revealed personal stuff on social media about her also. Yeah. Miss Quigley is not only vocal about her religious belief, but took every opportunity to proselytize. Well, okay, that's our vocab word for today, guys. Proselytize to any and all in her presence, regardless of protests.
Go ahead and check that out real quick.
Davis and Williams were eventually fired while Rodriguez resigned.
It's the process of trying to convert people's religious beliefs or political.
All of this at work when you're a backup dancer for Lizzo?
Well, I mean, hey. Well, she's the captain, right? Oh, okay, so now I'm understanding the dynamic. So it's not actually
Mean
Lizzo.
Girls.
So this is not actually Lizzo. The real issue here is the captain. And because it looks like...
So people working for Lizzo, but in a managerial capacity.
Yeah, because it looks like the real issue here is with the captain.
Googly.
And
That's why I had to go back and see what I read
who
earlier
she
about
was, yeah.
who's,
So that's what it is. So
what's her significance in...
which explains why there's so much interaction between her and the dancers. Because I was thinking it's so weird for the artist to be... Yes, you practice with the dancers, but you're not really hanging out with them like that.
No.
So, but this makes sense. You're the captain of the dance team, so the dancers have to be around you.
I'm Queen Bee.
Now, I don't know why she's posting stuff on social media. That's kind of weird because it's like you're not the artist. Lizzo is.
I think she probably confused that when she's like, I'm second in command.
I guess that's weird. That's very strange.
Although I'm like, I find it hard pressed to believe that Lizzo didn't realize that some of her dancers weren't happy. And I guess, obviously, you don't like, as the main person, you wouldn't concern yourself with all
with
of
the common folk.
with all the little petty issues. I was going to say
that wasn't the route you were going in. Okay.
No, that wasn't. There are times where that might be the case, but just at least for business. So it's like, so everyone in the, I don't want to say the bottom, but every single person
the bottom.
in every capacity
Go ahead
of
and
the
say
business
that.
is not just talking to the manager. It's not good for them to have access like that either.
I don't speak to the peasants.
But then you give the manager a little bit too much oversight and power that can be abused. And many times with women environments, despite what people say about the camaraderie and the bonding and sisterhood, which there's not.
Are you suggesting there's no sisterhood?
Despite what people think.
As a tantalizing, dark-skinned black woman,
it can be a very horrendous environment and stressful.
How could you say such
among
words?
women who are so-called besties and all that? So that part doesn't surprise me. What are your thoughts?
This is a stretch. I think whoever wrote this story, unless Lizzo actually did something, Lizzo really...
They just used her name for the...
Yeah, for the click.
Yeah.
And you got it. You got the click. So, I mean, it is what it is. But I don't really know. This is not the first time I've seen people's offices have issues.
Yeah.
Yes, she has responsibility because she's the one that hired this dance captain, I imagine.
Precisely.
I mean, if it's not
she had to give the okay at some point.
Yeah. So, you just have random people around you. I imagine you had some type of hand in it. But
I want to be messy and look up this girl and see her own body weight, but we're not going to do that. That's not this type of show.
But, it's just people on a power trip. Have delicious, unfiltered power, right in the veins, and it's feeling good. And so
I'm gonna make this girl feel bad. Well, you're still not Lizzo. You said, you're not the main guy. So.
I need more. I got this unfiltered power. It's it's giving me the best high I can ever experience, and so
gross.
I need more, and so I keep going. I keep trying to abuse people because it feels good. Because she's probably lonely. She probably goes home by herself on her couch sipping wine. Watching the latest show by herself, maybe has a dog or two or three. And so, yeah, she's like, you know what? In order for me to get happiness, I'm going to have to abuse some people.
Yeah.
Yeah. That works. And if you mess around, I'm just going to say, I'm going to fire you. So.
The type of abusive behavior that a handful of black women decide to take on.
In other news,
I
don't know if you guys are familiar with the New Jersey lieutenant governor, or I guess at this point, past the New Jersey lieutenant governor, Sheila Oliver. She has died at 71, which for women, that's actually kind of young. Usually women, it's like the age expectancy is like 78, 80, something like that. So, yeah, she had I'm not sure what exactly happened to her. She was hospitalized. What was she?
I don't know. 71. I guess you're right. That's not necessarily an old enough age because women's life expectancy is a little bit higher.
Anyway, she was prominent with a lot of the different movements in that area. She took over after Krispy Kreme Donut got kicked out of the position. Oh, sorry. That's my own personal nickname for him.
Okay.
Sorry. Chris Christie. Sorry.
Yes.
Anyway, so supposedly she's supposed to be like right next to him, but they were rarely seen together when he was governor. And so she spoke out against gun violence. She was talking about how she was tired of going to funerals, which now, she won't have to anymore. So that is at least done. So yeah, hopefully they figure out the situation. She was one of the new crop of black women to assume positions of power.
Based on merit.
Sure. I don't really know much about her other than the fact that she just passed. So I can't really speak on whether she went there and married or not. So
just a coincidence how they all went in at one time.
But there is a strong, tantalizing black woman that I do know a little bit about.
Uh-oh, it must be your favorite.
She is
not. Is it time?
She is not my favorite. Actually, that is the complete opposite of favorite.
Come on.
Kamala Harris.
You said a black woman.
Oh.
Okay. Maybe today she's identifying as that.
Look, I just go off of the new age where people self-identify. So if she wants to identify as a black woman today, that's what she identifies as, okay. Right?
If somebody during the election, and then actually it was split. It was like I'm Indian.
She's whatever she needs to be.
I'm a Rastafarian, even though that's not a thing.
She's whatever she needs to be.
Okay.
Depending on who's listening. But for today, She is a black woman.
Okay.
She's an AKA.
Ski-weed?
The Skew Weeds.
Just kidding. I would never. But go ahead.
She's an AKA.
What's going on with our dear friend Kamala, who represents none of us and spends her time talking to Africans of what they
she represents you. She does. Anyway, so she's having this little, fit with the governor of Florida, the Ron DeSantis of all the Santies.
I'm not surprised he's in it because he's been going to work.
Yes,
What's he up to
he's
now?
been extremely busy the last couple of months. Actually, you know what? He woke up on his pillow January 1st, 2023 and said, you know what? I choose violence.
Yes. Absolutely. That's...
He started this whole year off like, I'm about to go in. I'm about to wreck house.
That's perfectly
It's about to
said.
be full red.
Yes.
All day, every day.
Every month
nonstop.
going down.
I don't sleep.
He really
I
does
just
it.
write. That's all I do.
Yep.
Signing stuff.
Where's the next bill? Let me sign it.
Yep. Give me the next one. Another one. Right? This is the state of DJ Khaled. So another
nice.
one. So anyway, Miss possibly future President Kamala Harris returned to Florida on Tuesday and continued to take aim at the state's widely panned new Black history curriculum standard that suggests enslaved people learn skills that they could later benefit from. Now, I'm going to pause right here because I feel like both sides of this equation are not going to get this right. So I'm going to remember this little note. Here's a quote. Right here in Florida, they plan to teach students that enslaved people benefited from slavery. Now, I have to stop already. That quote is not consistent with the previous sentence. The previous sentence said that enslaved people learned skills that could later benefit them. That statement is actually accurate. Most of the people who... Example. Who built the White House?
According to her, she would say slaves, yeah.
Okay, so in order for you to build something, you have to have skills, don't you?
No. Absolutely not.
Oh.
No mathematical, scientific, no
type of,
architecture.
so any average Joe off the street you can just hand him a scaffold and some
blocks of
tools
wood
and say, all right, go build me a White House.
Cement.
Go. Right? Because it takes no skill, right?
I'm just kidding. No.
So in a way, it's almost kind of disrespecting the ancestors because he made it seem like they were just a bunch of dummies.
Yeah.
They couldn't do nothing. They were slaves. They weren't dummies. So no, we had skills. This is the reason why during the Reconstruction era, when we were supposed to be given some assistance to acclimate to the rest of society, and we did not receive that assistance at all. Mm-hmm. But that didn't stop us from flourishing. We were still able to, build up our own industries. It's because we already had skills, right?
Yeah.
And so, we were able to build our communities. Nobody was going to be building houses for Black folks. Nobody's building houses.
Why would they? Yeah.
They wouldn't do that. We had to build our own houses, which means we had to have skills in order to do that. So, yes. Now, what she said as far as enslaved people benefited from slavery, yes, she would be correct. Enslaved people did not benefit from slavery. Right? That would be a correct statement. But it's also a correct statement to say that they learned skills. They're both right.
You can have two statements be true at the same time.
Right, but they're both being disingenuous on this one because they're all trying to prove a point.
Of course. So you call cap on both sides.
I call cap on both sides. So she made these remarks at this Women's Missionary Society of the African Methodist Church convention in Orlando.
See, I told you. She'd probably identify as African today.
Yeah. They insult us in an attempt to gaslight us, in an attempt to divide and distract our nation with unnecessary debates, she says. Right. The state board last month unanimously approved the new standards, including the portion of benchmark classifications, one of which calls for the instruction on how slaves develop skills which in some instances, could be applied to their personal benefit. Now that I don't have an issue with that statement. In some instances, kind of as a cover there, but that is true. We were able to In Houston, if you go to 4th Ward, there is a street or several streets that haven't been ripped apart yet.
Okay.
The Freedman area, right? Basically, the ex-slaves built their own road.
Oh, the red
using
brick.
red brick.
Yes.
That takes skill. And you know they did a good job because the brick is still there.
Yeah. Saw it.
It's still there, right? So, you know, again, I think that's kind of disrespectful to the people who, you know, endured those times. But also, yes, I don't want...
Labored and were skilled.
They were skilled. They're, you know, skilled laborers. But also at the same time, they did all this stuff for society and they didn't get paid for it. So it's not like we benefited from that. No. But we weren't dummies. We were never dummies.
Excuse me.
All right, so here's this quote. Now they attempt to legitimize these unnecessary debates with a proposal that most recently came in of a politically motivated roundtable, Harris added. This is kind of one of my issues with today's age as it relates to politics, is it's so divided, and this is all just nonsense. I mean, why can't we be honest about facts? And I understand that that's a loaded question because we don't even agree on the set of facts. So how are we supposed to be honest about one fact?
It's still not too much of a request to have as a taxpaying citizen. Like, why can't, at the very least, our government officials be honest, you know, when dealing with the public? I don't care what they do in their private lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this tribalism is very damaging. I mean, it was damaging before, and I don't know if Donald Trump is to blame for this because I don't remember it being this tribal before him. I mean, I know Al Gore versus Bush was a little divided because Al Gore was talking about climate change. He was one of the first ones to bring that up.
Who was right?
And he happened to be right on that one. I don't remember McCain and Obama being this bad, or Mitt Romney being this bad, where it's like these are just polar opposites.
You mean the actual candidates? Because I was going to say people themselves started degrading the political process somewhere after, somewhere around the time of Obama, between then and Trump, when people didn't get what they wanted, and, you know, seemingly two candidates got in office that they thought didn't have a chance, you know, on either side, the people opposing Obama, and then later on whenever Trump came, or they didn't think were qualified, should go in there. So then people's behavior started becoming like tribalized. But I don't know when to pinpoint when.
But it wasn't I see what you're saying, because they did, you know, that's where we started seeing a bunch of racist jokes and calling it monkey and all that stuff.
Like way beyond the normal political cartoons.
That was, completely out of line.
And past rhetoric.
But was that more Obama personally, or was that the Democratic Party? Because I don't know if at that point, the division that we see now, where it's like, as soon as if you have an R attached to you, you're automatically the enemy.
Oh no, it's completely different now. Because before the different branches of government were working together. So, looks like we have a comment here.
We do.
Yeah. Fulton says it definitely didn't help.
It did not.
Yeah. What did Ron DeSantis hope to accomplish by inviting her to, I guess, discuss it at a roundtable or debate format?
I don't know him personally, and honestly, I just know the stuff that comes out in news. So I don't live in Florida, so I don't know him intimately like that. But if I was in his shoes, right, I'll come from that perspective. If I was in his shoes and I'm trying to make adjustments to my state, and somebody on the federal level doesn't necessarily like what I'm doing, right? The reason why I would invite them to sit down and have a conversation about it is to kind of see where they're coming from. Be like, all right, well, what do you see that I don't see? right? At least extend the arm. I mean, you don't have to shake it, but at least extend it. Be like, all right, well, if you have an issue with it, we can talk face to face about it.
Yeah.
But this is how I see things, and this is why I'm doing it the way that I'm doing it, because I believe in this and standing on that. But like I said, I don't know where his angle on this is. But that's how I would take it. I would look at it more as an opportunity to take in more opinion. I don't know if it really means much because if I'm already at this point, it's already passed.
Okay,
right? So
that's true. And keeping himself in the news. Now that I think about it, after asking that, because he is running for office, so as a presidential candidate, so
yeah,
he needs to. While still addressing state issues, he's trying to put himself, with the administration, as equal parts. Like, oh, I'm gonna debate the vice president, which Kamala's probably like, oh, I don't do that.
But here's the issue though. Okay, so if I'm the governor of Florida, right?
Yeah.
The only thing that might sound like a backtrack from what I just said is I probably wouldn't extend that arm to Kamala Harris.
Yeah, because I'm like, what are you talking to her for?
Well, and the main reason why
I guess your reasoning. Sorry, go ahead.
The main reason why is I saw how she treated Ice Cube.
Oh.
When Ice Cube was trying to make the plan for Black America, right? No one else was doing that kind of work. So everyone else was just kind of just doing whatever. He was trying to create some type of plan to create some economic growth within our community. How fractured it is. So he was trying to speak to as many people as he could and as many political leaders as he could to get some stuff moving. He didn't necessarily care who he spoke to. He was just trying to get stuff done, right? He reached out to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, tried to schedule a meeting with Kamala Harris since Joe was off, I think, at a different country at that point, or he was somewhere else. And she didn't want to give him the time of day. He reached out to Trump, which I'm not a huge fan of Trump, but, at that time, I think Trump was the president at that time.
Yeah, he might have been in office.
Yeah.
At the time.
So he reached out to the president of the United States, and Trump gave him a meeting. And then he gets blasted all over social media. A bunch of black folks started coming after him because he met with Donald Trump about this plan for Black America.
Yes.
And what people failed to realize at that point is that he reached out to both sides. But,
Yeah. Only one side was willing to speak.
Yeah. And one of the issues that I have with the Democratic Party is, as it relates to black men, we don't have a voice in that party. That's what
the real issue was.
That's been an issue.
They tried to say, oh, well, we weren't in office yet, or we didn't have any power yet. It's like, yeah, but you were in office and you met with a bunch of other people.
You did.
And made promises that, if you were going to be in office. So
and that's what,
how far-fetched would have been to just have a simple meeting.
Right. So that's where.
You don't want to talk to black men.
No. And that's where, an issue with Stacey Abrams, right? She was running for governor and she was like, we need black men to vote. The problem is the Democratic Party does not listen to us when we speak.
Yeah.
They only listen to one type of dude, right? And that type of dude falls in line with whatever it is black women are saying.
Oh, so really it's the black woman's agenda. And then
right. So you just happen to be a male black woman.
Yikes.
Essentially.
Yeah.
If you're not that, you have your own agenda, you have your own path, you have your own thought that's not the common narrative, then all of a sudden they're just like, you need you to be in the background. You need to shut the hell up. Like, we don't want you to speak.
Yeah.
And so
you don't have a voice. You don't get a voice here.
That was what
Who told you could speak?
Exactly. And that's been my issue with me personally, even on the local level, when I've tried to participate in local politics, is I felt that here. And it's like, when I started to see that in other places, I'm like, okay, so this is not just like my little area thing, or maybe me, right? Maybe they just don't like what I'm saying, which that could be true. It could be fair. But
they would have to listen to you first to say they don't like what you're saying.
True.
I mean, you don't even let people speak, and then, oh, well, I don't like it.
So if putting me in the situation, because Ron's not a black man, so it's not apples to apples in that situation. But I would have an issue with Kamala Harris because, like, I saw how you treated, Ice Cube, and so it's like, I mean, she's not gonna give me the time of day. I'll still reach out, but I'm not gonna be surprised. Yeah. I mean, like,
I mean, the whole administration really is against, I would say, black men having independent thought. Because, I mean, even Joe Biden, who do you think he was talking to? He already had black women in his pocket, and, or the general populace of black women. You know, there's some people opposing, but for the majority, the main part, he was really speaking to black men when he made that stupid comment of, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Who was he talking to?
He was talking to us on that one. So
it's like, why every time, black men aren't your children. Every time that people just want to talk, instead of coming to the table like another human, adult person with autonomy and voting power and citizenry and paying a tax-paying person, like, they don't come to the table like, okay, what would you like? What can we do for you? It's more of, you need to do this and you need to do that. You know, need to, and mainly you need to sit quiet and take whatever we give you.
Yeah, I loved, not to keep picking on Stacey Abrams, but she's just a really good use case.
No, she's absolutely a good use case.
When she labeled a plan for black men, her economic plan for black men, it was literally the same plan that she wrote for everybody else. She just slapped a new landing page and just put black men on it.
I don't have a plan for you.
Like, you might just don't be fake. Just be like, hey, look.
But if you don't vote for me, or if I don't win, it's because you didn't follow and vote for me.
Yes.
With that silly campaign message, I guess in collaboration with a local artist in her area.
Yes.
In Atlanta or something, and they.
That's
something
stupid.
Completely foolish. And it's like, this is how you're addressing black men or reaching out to them.
Saucy Santana or something. Yeah, it was Saucy Santana. It was somebody else.
And that's fine if you were trying to reach out to the people of his camp. You know, I don't know if he identifies in that group of the LGBTQ plus folks, but that still would have been a smaller subset. There's still heterosexual men that she completely skipped out on. But she was using that as like, you need to follow them. And it's like, everyone has their own agenda. And the fact that you won't even listen. And
the funny thing about it,
she's crazy.
This is the funniest thing
I'm glad she didn't win.
But here's the funniest thing about that. The funniest thing about that whole situation is she's acting like black men don't have money.
Yes.
We have money.
Yes. That's usually, I'm not saying it's correct, but or that it's right. But that's usually how politicians treat people who have no money and no power in this situation.
And it's like, so wait a minute. So you want to shit in my face, right? But then when it comes to you needing money for your campaign, you want to come through.
Well, yeah, you need to support black women.
Because wait a minute. Why would I give you money if I don't have a voice? You're not my representative. Like, well, that didn't make any sense. You must think I'm an idiot. You have to think I'm an idiot. She thought everybody was an idiot.
I mean, I'm just glad she dug her own grave on that one, especially with her comments with parents and like, oh, well, I mean, the gas prices are high, and you know, if you didn't have kids, then you'd be able to buy gas and groceries.
Oh, she tried to link.
What is wrong with you, lady?
She tried to link abortion to the economy.
I was like, that's an epic fail. Yeah, epic fail.
But
you don't have to be a parent to know that that's an epic fail.
So you know, I look at Kamala Harris in the same type of vein. She has a different issue, not the same as Stacey Abrams. Her issue more is incarceration. Her record for locking up people is tremendous,
unmatched. And remember, she said that was going to be the
great work,
the model for the U.S.
Straight facts, the absolute model. You know, look, a better society is a society where we have less black men out free. Go ahead and lock them all up.
And before you say, oh, well, some people did stuff that was wrong, Kamala Harris is on record as having people jailed who were innocent, and it was found out later that they already lost time in their life.
First of all, they're black.
What is that supposed to mean?
So immediately they're not innocent. Okay.
Okay, they were cleared of their charges as far as proof and evidence.
Oh,
then she refused to even pay attention.
You forget a part,
or give apology.
Wait, you forget a part. Her department withheld evidence as well. Can't forget that one, right?
Is that part of the thing?
That's a part of it. Yeah.
Because they wanted to win.
Absolutely.
We already win. Plus, we
have an agenda. We can't.
That's impossible. You're from this location, this area. You're black, and that's basically you're black. So
we can't meet our quota if we're giving people all of the evidence.
And this is the same woman that's for the people and the Democratic Party of helping.
This is the model.
I'm like, girl,
this is
stop.
the model. She said that's the model.
I'm all about law and justice. That's what we're doing. But you cannot administer the law as you please to a certain group that you just don't like.
Yes, this is what it is.
Guilty.
If you make me president, I'll ensure that everybody gets locked up.
That's all I heard. That's literally all I heard. I'm like, okay, so all the black men are going to be locked up?
Hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, if
it's foul.
You guys can go in the comment section. Clearly, I'm biased on this one. I can't stand her. But
I would say I'm biased, but really, I mean, I just like objectivity. And as far as the political process, it's supposed to be a democratic process. Like, we are supposed to be able to have our votes and be able to get people in that we the people, have some kind of power. And the way law and justice is operating in America right now is not how the framers had intended. I'll just keep my little TED talk short on that.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't supposed to be race based and what's happening and people splitting up, or maybe they weren't splitting up since the several black communities of different backgrounds were shattered anyways. And then black women took their ticket and they're like, yeah, I'm going to go with the Democrats. And we'll see how that plays out. Now you got a few people in office. A lot of the people of color that were put in office, as one of them I saw today, the State Department, are actually from India. They are people of color, though, so, however you want to do that. But when you put the stats, it's like, first of all, we shouldn't have been saying, we're going to make promises about appointees that are based on their race. Because even if they do have merit, which a lot of them do, it just gets overshadowed. So this administration needs to go.
So this is where, kind of going back on that point where we're too polar.
Yeah.
If you wanted to make a case for what the Supreme Court did about affirmative action, that would be an example. Mainly because affirmative action is way too broad. It was supposed to help black people, and it ends up helping all these other people who aren't black. So,
let me make that simple. White women.
Yes. Now, again, I say that as a person who's not a fan of what's his face? Not Uncle Tom. That's not his name.
Clarence Thomas.
Clarence Thomas. I say that as not being a fan of
wow.
Clarence Thomas.
Sorry,
right?
not sorry.
And we have 2 episodes that go into full detail of why. But, this is where we can't have real conversations because we're too stuck on these like teams that don't serve us at all. None of these teams serve us.
Yeah.
And so this story is just interesting because there is some legitimacy behind the CTR thing.
Critical race theory.
Yes. And I think if I'm trying to think what DeSantis is trying to do here, I think he's trying to clamp down on a lot of those things.
Okay.
The problem that I have with the CTR is that there's too much information that's conflicting. I don't really know because the water got so muddy with just misinformation. I'm not entirely sure what CTR is or what the goal of it is because I hear a lot of different things. And so I don't really have an opinion on CTR as of late just because there's just too much information and I don't know which source is correct. One minute I hear that CTR is just simply trying to bring awareness to how race has impacted history. The other side of it is, and I guess another take on it is it's trying to convince black people that you come from slaves, all you can be is a slave, and the reason why you can't achieve anything in your life is because you used to be a slave, which I don't want my children to absorb that. Like, that's not something that I'm going to teach my kids is, oh, you're a descendant of slaves, so you're not going to be nothing. Like, that's not a good message for black people. Yes, that happens to be a part of the history. It's not our full history, right?
And that's not necessarily how the lesson should be taught.
No, I mean, we completely miss, all the achievements that we have in Africa before we got here. That's never a part of the equation. So, I think that's kind
impossible. You guys didn't know anything. You were just playing with sticks.
Well, you didn't know anything. It doesn't mean that I didn't know anything.
Facts.
So
I'm like, and how did you guys feed yourselves when we got to America?
Yeah, let's talk about that. So, yeah, I think that's kind of where the CTR thing is really muddy, and I don't really know what it really is because there's so many conflicting things on it. And depending on who you listen to, they have a convincing argument. But again, we're not dealing with the same set of facts. And that's a huge problem with this debate.
That's also a huge issue.
Yeah.
Entirely for the divisiveness that you're talking about, and with the groups and people fighting, is we don't know if we're using the issues the same way and definitions the same way. That's also a huge issue. Okay.
That is very true, and that's kind of where the big problem with a lot of these things.
It's like, what are we actually talking about?
Let's
make one definition first,
right?
And let's start from there. But we can't even do that.
Now, I'm a huge fan of just teaching people history, right? These are the facts of what happened, and here are some key players, and then moving on to something else. as far as the black stuff, I want to keep that in the house. Now, what that means is that black people need to self-educate and learn about your own history. I can do that, right? I happen to come from a family who taught black history. So I didn't have to rely on my school to teach me about me. My family taught me about me, right? So
and nobody should be teaching you about you.
And that is one of the, and that's one of the things that I would say I am in favor of, is just taking that stuff out of school altogether and telling black people, yo, you need to do your homework. And that means that we got to step up, right? We got to educate ourselves. We have to know about us, because I don't like the idea of someone else teaching me about me.
No other race operates like that.
No other race operates like that. Jews don't do that. Hispanics don't do that. Somehow, every time I turn around, there's always something about a public school trying to teach whatever, and it happens to involve us. And that's
I'm just like, leave us alone.
Yeah.
But
we do it though. It's not even it's not the school. It's not the government. It's us trying to shove our stuff in the school because we don't want to do the work at home. Either because we're not there or because our homes are broken. Which there's a bunch of reasonings.
And if the homes are broken, then you wouldn't necessarily have time to. Well, let me not give a cop out. You have time to do whatever it is that you want to do. It just may not be as much time. But even if you taught your child 5 minutes a day, or 20 minutes on one weekend, I'm sure there's some leisurely time.
There is.
People find
time.
A lot of time to do stuff that you have no business doing.
If you have time to watch your favorite show,
I know moms are going to come after me and be like, "You don't understand."
Let them come after you. But here's the thing: have you watched your favorite show? If the answer to that question is yes, then you have time to read to your kids about Black history. That's I don't. Yeah, and if you can't read, then yes, you need to learn how to read first, and then go teach your kids some Black history.
Yeah.
Right. You should be able to read at this point. If you don't, that's a failure on your parents, and that's unfortunate. But that's not an excuse. There's plenty of resources out there.
Yeah.
To go figure out how to read.
That's the next thing I was going to say. There's a lot more than in previous times. While there's misinformation out there, there's also accurate historical information about African people, about Black American people, the connection between.
There's documentaries too.
There's
so
documentaries.
You don't even have to do the reading thing if you just really don't like that.
People find what they want to find. They search and find what you want. You're right. Do you have time to watch your favorite show? Yeah, that's an absolute gangster.
Yes. Now, granted, I don't want to deter people from watching this show. If this happens to be your favorite show.
If this is your favorite show, you better continue watching.
But no,
I think you all.
Yeah, I think this is kind of dumb. I mean, a lot of these political things are kind of dumb, but you started off by saying that Kamala Harris isn't Black, so maybe that was the whole premise of this whole thing.
This is not my personal opinion of her. It's more of what is she deciding to be today. I'm like, what bag of tricks? Just like she's over there speaking at that long-named African something Episcopal something church. Okay. And she's over here talking about we. So today you're African? And you could be multiple things if it was genuine. My problem is she's already pretending to be a drugged-out Black person, which is just, it's like, if you wanted to represent Black people, you go and choose a,
for her.
I used to do drugs and listen to rap music. And I was like, who...
Yeah, that was kind of
weird. Who are you modeling this after?
That was very weird.
And it's like, well, no wonder, because you think you want to lock all these people up because you think that's what your opinion is. Every Black person is out here doing that. So that's where the root of my comments towards her. I don't have any problem with a biracial person calling themselves Black if they want to be Black, or if they are Black. I mean, it's just Kamala has her own issues.
She does.
Yeah, and so. But yes, on the issue with her and Ron DeSantis, they need to stop it. They're just playing games for their party.
Well, I don't. I mean,
they're not going to stop because next year's about to be super divisive. So.
And unfortunately, Ron DeSantis has been very busy this year. So I mean, he's an easy target, right? He did the. He pissed off the LGBTQ folks. He pissed off the women with the abortion stuff. He's pissing off Kamala Harris.
He apparently pissed off people with Disney. Taking away their diversity, equity, inclusion program, something like that.
But also too, he kind of hit their money too, because he took away one of their tax privileges.
Oh,
that's what really got them up.
That's where he hit them. People where it hurts.
Yeah, he hit them where it hurt. So that's he's been making a lot of enemies.
He's been taking a lot of money. That state should probably be getting richer. Remember the alimony? He took away.
He took away that too. So
the
he
permanent
pissed off.
alimony. Can y'all believe there was permanent alimony for people?
He took away that as well. So I mean, he's pissed off a lot of folks. The Democratic woman who wasn't really impacted by maybe some of those other ones.
Yeah.
The permanent alimony really got them into bunches.
Oh yeah.
But he's out here on a mission. I think Ron's like, you know what? I'm tired of this nonsense. I'm about to go out here and get it. And if I, suffer politically, so be it. Whatever.
Maybe he was really thinking he's going to win, and then, and that's not to say he won't for presidency. So he's like, I'm going to do as much as I can. I
mean, I'm here for it. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of career politicians. I mean, look what happened with what's his name, Mitch McConnell. Oh, we were having a brain freeze or whatever that was on live TV. Guy's in mid sentence and just.
The thing is, if people say something, then it's ageist. But I'm like, how about people take care of their health and spend moments? Well, they probably do want to spend moments working in politics because that's what they love. But I'm thinking, how about you spend time with your family? But they don't want to lose power. So, I don't know. What do you think? Well, they mentioned him, and who else was there? Are you doing this there? I was like, what is he doing? I was like, I was over here checking the camera. I'm like, wait,
that's how awkward it was.
The camera freeze.
He literally froze for like a very long time. I'm like, yo, what's wrong with this guy?
Did y'all catch that? Because I almost missed it. I'm like, what is happening with my camera?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly what happened.
We can keep being in denial, though. Dianne Feinstein. Wait till they, oh, wait, he is Republican. I was saying,
all these old people need to get out.
Yeah. Well, they don't want to, which is not making any room for the younger people, but I don't know.
That's wild. We
do need to get back towards a more conducive working together environment, even though everything's talking to me kumbaya. What's our comment saying here?
Breathe.
Yes. Don't forget to breathe. Sir, would you like to come back here? Come with us.
Yeah, it was wild.
Fools, are you funny?
but seriously, it's nuts. So I am not looking forward to next year. I mean, this is going to be a hot mess politically.
We're gonna have all the coverage for y'all.
Man, this is gonna be, man. I'm not looking forward to this. I wish Trump would just go away. He's still trying to fight to be on the ballot. I think he got it. Did he get indicted? I know he's in some news for something. I try to block out Trump news. So I know. I'm not really trying
on the community post, y'all. Can you vote for something else, please?
I'm not really trying to get into Trump thing.
You asked to talk about Trump.
He's the biggest troll there ever was. You know, like Dijon off of YouTube. You know how he trolls folks?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. You know, his is at least halfway funny. Trump is just Trump. I don't know. So yes, he's going to be doing his antics. Ron DeSantis is going to be interesting. It is going to be a whole
another Celebrity Apprentice. Next year we got this.
And of course, what would kick off this show perfectly is if Joe Biden, takes one last fall.
Oh no!
And then that's the last fall he takes, and then all of a sudden we have President Kamala Harris running for being as an incumbent, and that would be horrific, but it would be also awesome at the same time. So I'm kind of. I don't want that, but I kind of want it. It's kind of like one of those situations where you're like a fly and you see a lamp, and you know it's bad for you. You don't want to do it, but you still fly forward anyway because it's like, man, that's a really bright lamp. It's a really bright lamp. No?
I don't have a comment for that.
For Kamala Harris presidency?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
But, yeah.
I mean, I would probably, join the... I would probably try to find some flights out of the country. I mean, if y'all were thinking that the police are coming after you, now, I mean, wait until Kamala Harris gets in there.
I mean, she lost me from the injustice. So
the what?
With the injustice from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Before even getting into office. Once I found out her record of protecting and serving California, I'm like, no.
She is serving California.
You're locking people up who didn't commit a crime or didn't commit the crime that you locked them up for. And even though it's like a really smaller portion of the population, there's still people who, I mean, you don't just take away people's freedoms. This is America.
I think you're looking at this in the wrong way.
Yeah?
Yes.
How should I be looking at it?
I think instead of focusing on the locking people up part, right? Because that's probably the biggest neon sign part of it.
Okay.
look at it as a way to decrease the homeless population, right? She's actually providing housing.
Because of course they weren't going to have
San
a
Fran,
job
exactly. San Fran has a very bad homeless population problem.
That's not a joke. They actually do.
They do, right? So she's like, how can I fix this? I know. Let me lock people up. And in that way, they have a place to stay. And they're off the street.
That's so sickening. Let's just abuse people who are disadvantaged. If that wasn't the ultimate
the American
politician,
way.
It's not.
It's what we do.
And that's what causes revolt. There's a lot of great things in America, but we had to root out some of these.
Let's get it.
What are they called? Bad weeds.
Hey. Look at her smile too. She has that Hillary Clinton smile.
We did it, y'all.
You know that Hillary Clinton smile that's just like fake as F?
I think that's the other problem
That's
too.
what it is.
It's fake.
She's just full of her whole face is fake.
I can't get down with disingenuine people.
It's bad.
Yeah, I'm just not feeling it. So, and I just don't like the idea of trying to corral a bunch of black people and say, here's somebody for you. You should listen to her because she's black. Okay, guys? Because you don't have a mind of your own. Here's our person for you.
Oh,
like
man.
Candace.
Oh, jeez.
She's going to tell you exactly what to say.
Honestly,
not say,
that is a
feel.
That is a very good point.
She's going to help you stay in line because, she's the lighter slave. So she's going to whip you people into line.
That is a very good point. Both sides do this token thing.
The token.
Here's the black
Both
person.
sides. This is not partisan.
You need to listen to. This is a voice for you. Man.
You don't set the agenda. We set the agenda.
I would like us to start setting agendas.
Fulton.
Her laugh and shivers down my spine.
You and me both. You and me both.
I don't know where they pulled her from, man. I keep thinking Hillary Clinton because I'm like, what is this? What am I looking at? Like, who? Is this a person? This can't be real.
The real thing is, does Hillary come back to run?
Oh, no.
I think there's still time to declare.
I can't. Nah.
Hey, maybe she's more personable and doesn't think people are flyover cities or states.
Nah, we're done with that. Yeah, we're done with that one.
What if she became accountable?
She ain't
for
gonna be
Benghazi
accountable.
and other things.
No, she's not. No.
I mean, it's several years later.
She wrote the blueprint. Look, I don't hate women. Okay, I want to start that because somebody's gonna probably take my comments.
Fulton, do you hate women?
Somebody's gonna probably take my comments and be like, "Oh, this guy hates women." That's not true. I look at things.
I hate the women you guys keep putting in front of us. There are very qualified women that are not getting to be on the ballot.
I'm very observant. Okay. The issue I have, and I don't know if Hillary Clinton started this, but she was the one that was the most popular at doing this. When stuff hits the fan, right? The MO for a lot of these female politicians is to get out.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Stuff got a little dicey in Benghazi, out.
I'm out. I'm also not going to address.
I don't even know what happened.
I was in Benghazi. I was I was overseas.
Right? One of my favorites.
What's Benghazi?
What's Benghazi? I don't know what Benghazi is. What is that? A dish? What is that? Salad dressing? I don't know what that is.
Embassy. What embassy?
Straight facts. My other favorite one was the police chief in Atlanta.
Oh gosh.
During the riots, George Floyd riots. That one, amazing, right? She's like, yeah, I'm the first female to be, the first woman to be elected as the chief, or not elected, appointed as the chief
bang my head against the wall.
Police officer of Atlanta. And then all of a sudden the city starts going nuts. Yeah, I'm going to have to resign. Someone else needs to take the mental health. I think
I'd like to spend more time with my family. And
my kids, right? My kids.
That had been there before.
And just, there's a lot of things that I need to accomplish in life.
It's just because you can't do the job.
I was doing the job when everything was fine, right? And then, when something sticky happens.
See, this is the type of the women that give such a bad rep and make people think that women are incapable of such tasks. I would say there are fewer women that can handle the heat. But those women typically don't even get put into power for some reason.
I mean, look how bad Lightfoot fell. I mean, that was horrific. How far the massive fall that she did.
I mean, we have a bunch of psychopaths and narcissists that are just seeking power. That's what's happening.
You watched a very good, was it like a interview or a documentary? I don't know what you were watching.
Yeah, they're trying to do like both. It was an interview of somebody who wrote a book about the psychopaths, and
and he was talking about
I forgot about that. Yeah,
the people who choose to run for these offices, and a lot of them
drawn to the jobs. Yeah,
are I don't know. Did he call them psychopaths, or did he call?
He
them
might have used a different word, maybe sociopath.
Sociopath. That's it. Narcissist,
being on some kind of spectrum of those things.
Yeah, that's it.
Self-appointed ones, even down to the people with the HOA in the neighborhood. Typically are people who, they would want to.
That person has a name now.
Yeah.
She goes by the name of Karen.
Oh yes.
Karen is now officially named.
Like they claim to want to serve the community and all those things, but really they just enjoy giving you tickets and seeing their neighbors shake and get those letters. Oh well, your lawn wasn't trimmed right to 1.4 or not 0.4 inches or whatever. So
some crazy stuff.
Your trash bin was out 1 minute after the time that you're supposed to put it back in your backyard. All those kind of things.
Yeah.
Anything I can find you.
So maybe that's our issue.
Not for the betterment of the community. No. This is for my own personal satisfaction so I can go on my power trip. So if you are working with someone like that or have a boss like that, don't take it personally. They have problems.
Yeah. So that's probably the issue here is we got a bunch of narcissists running for office because it's a volunteer thing. So it's like, hey, who wants to run? And the person's like, ooh, I like attention.
Yeah.
Give me away and give me that one.
Typically the person willing to do the work doesn't necessarily care about the attention part because they're too busy wanting to find the good results.
Right. So.
And they may not be as charismatic and stuff because some of these people are very charismatic and seemingly friendly, and they know how to get people to like them. So, yeah.
I guess we need to get Full Onion to run for office. That's what we gotta do for.
Yeah. What's he gonna run for?
I don't know, but we gotta get him in there.
Yeah. Maybe first task, be a moderator. For logical reason.
There you go. Yes. So one of the things that we must do is we must vote anytime that we can, any opportunity that we have, because our voices need to be heard.
Definitely.
We also need to push that like and subscribe button.
You knew it was coming. Don't act surprised. Thank you again, y'all. We really love y'all. We got to 100 subscribers.
Thank you, everybody, for the support. We're going to keep pushing. If you have any suggestions for future episode ideas or just some nice little news clips, let us know. We'll see y'all next week.